You know, this week has been really busy. Motivation Monday. Have you ever been so busy that I'm going to move this and you're going to hate me for it? I love it. You ever have a week that's just so busy and so hectic that it feels so rewarding when it's all done? If you've been following the videos, you know that that's what the week that we've been having. I am now an in-house GM in Auburn, Washington, to go through and go to the Final Boss Gaming Lounge. They're a wonderful retro gaming, TTRPG, Magic, wonderful little hangout. Most places, they just do Magic the Gathering. And this place really actually takes care of a lot of gamers, board gamers, card gamers, and TTRPG. So there's a set spot for D&D campaigns, and you can rent out some time with them. It's kind of wonderful. This is not sponsored by them at all. It's just kind of a nice little, hey, if you ever want to find me, that's where I'm at. Final Boss Gaming Lounge in Auburn, Washington. But this week has just been such a ride. We're talking about Motivation Mondays, right? So everything that you might be going through right now, if you're having a hard week, if it's a really difficult Monday for you, if you just don't want to get out of bed, I get it. The important thing is taking care of yourself and understanding that sometimes the things that we just have to keep pushing ourselves to do are the things that are going to pay off in the long run. And I know that's not what you want to hear, because you know it. You know the decisions you should be making, but you know how hard it is to actually make those decisions a reality. So we've been doing stuff with the World Cup. We've been doing things around the community. We've been building community. We actually are getting a West Marches game going on, right? But all these things wouldn't be possible if I hadn't have been through the worst year of my life. Literally, the worst year of my life. Everything came crashing down around me, and everything that I'm building now with Mythic and partnerships, and we have some wonderful announcements coming up with that, so stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, right? It's going to keep you in the loop for everything Mythic, games that we're organizing, everything else if you just want to. We have a Patreon up where we have the core rule set for playtests up right now for sale. It gives you all the developer notes and everything so far. And then, of course, all of that goes to pushing through these other partnerships and kind of building and growing as we take on more adventure writing and more map packs and everything else, so that you can have something to play with that core rule set. But I wouldn't be able to do any of this without the worst year of my life. And that's not an understatement. But when things are taken away, when opportunities are limited, when you work and nothing is happening, that doesn't mean that things aren't coming together in the background. You never know who you're going to run into or chance meet or just so happen to see that they have a sign up now. Sometimes a sign is actually your sign. But sometimes we got to dig deep and find our motivation. My motivation was low barrier to entry and community. And now I'm partnered with other creators that also focused on low barrier to entry and community first. Everything pays off if you really work at it. Because when you're doing something that isn't going to pay off, it doesn't stall. It breaks you down. So if something's not actively breaking you down, if something's not drawing you away from relationships, away from the core of who you are, and I don't mean politically, I don't mean religiously, I just mean you as a person, your likes, your interests, your kindness, your empathy, your levels of all these things. Use these as your motivation. Find people that surround your motivation, because they're out there. It's not going to be the first time. It's not going to be the second time. It might not even be the 20th time. But if where you're at seems to be just supporting the stasis, that's just a season of waiting. That doesn't mean quit doing what you're doing. If it's actively breaking you down and breaking down relationships and ruining you, you know you're doing the wrong thing. That's not motivation. But you can do this. You can stick in there. Dig deep. Stick to your passion and make it happen. And if you're in the area, you can go through and stop on by to the Final Boss Game Lounge. And if you want, you have a party, maybe you're a forever DM that's, really wants to play with your friends, because I know that was me for a while. You can actually rent out private venues, or you can stop on by as a party, and I will be the in-house game master to go through and have fun with that. So you can contact the Final Boss Game Lounge for more information on that. They got Facebook, they're online, and they have a wonderful staff. But for this Monday, hang in there. Through all the clutter, like I said, through all the clutter that might be going on in your week, whatever's in your life right now, this clutter might just be the forward progress you've been looking for. So don't shy away from digging deep and doing a little bit of the extra work, because you can do it. I believe in you. And if you're not rolling natural 20s, I'll give you inspiration. How about that? So add an extra D6, add an extra D8. You know, the GM says you can go D6 or D8. Some people need that extra D8. Veteran GMs, you know what I'm talking about. Some of those players that no matter what, they just can't roll like above a 7. Yeah, D8s, D10s, an extra D12 advantage for some reason you came up with. It's a little bit different Motivation Monday. We're not doing it as a short, we're doing it as a long form video. But I think it's needed. Sometimes a little extra motivation matters. So trying out a little bit more of the video podcast style, seeing what y'all like and what y'all are entertained with. How do y'all feel about Paizo going out of business? I'm kind of down for it. Hot take. I don't like a lot of TTRPG systems. And it's almost like that's why I built my own. But Paizo going out of business, Hasbro getting rid of physical books. I'm behind the curve on a lot of the latest news because honestly, I wait for it to be a little more confirmed than some people. Because you don't come to me for breaking news. You come to me for a GM's perspective on things that are happening right now. I did talk to somebody the other day and they confirmed some layoffs with Paizo. So a little insider scoop there. I don't know who's talking about layoffs right now, but that's like the second or third step in closing down. How many places out there actually do like TTRPG and D&D stuff for a venue? You know, I see a lot of card shops out there, a lot of Magic the Gathering, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh still, a lot of Pokemon, but I'm not seeing almost any D&D shops. My old shop kind of closed down, so it was a struggle trying to find someplace else because everywhere else is like, oh, we just do Magic or we just do tournaments or we only do Pathfinder, and it's like, why are we being so exclusive? So again, finding like-minded individuals is key. And it's difficult. You're going to go through a lot of really unfortunate experiences before you find the right people. And it's funny because when you find the right people, one of the first things that you're going to bond about is how unfortunate you've been with finding the wrong people. I don't know. Can you hear that? I know. Lovely. I know. I fidget with stuff, so you're going to have to get used to that if you're going to stick around. I'll probably chop all this up, do some quick edits. Who knows? I know most of it's probably going to be boring anyway, so I'm just going to yammer on and rant. So, dice pool versus like an escalating support dice, I think we're doing a nice mix of both now. So Mythic, everything comes down to adding dice to your dice pool. I wanted to play with all the dice in the dice set. How many people actually love like all of their dice? Not just the D20, not just the D12s. The other nice thing that how we accomplish that with Mythic is making it dice system agnostic. So you can actually use D20, D12, D100, 2D6. I didn't want anybody to feel like, you know, we all know those people that go, I'm not going to play that game because it's not D20 or it's not 2D6 or, you know, I want to play with my kids, so it's got to be like a narrative-focused game with 2D6 or 2D12, right? It's got to be like Daggerheart or something. But none of those games and none of those systems are actually super approachable. There's a couple out there that really specify it, but sometimes they're not enough to engage the adult players in the room. And then you're still stuck with 2D6 because everything's 2D6 because we evolved from tabletop wargaming. We have the nice prototype character sheet. I know, right? I wanted the real like gaslight Victorian kind of feel. So it's a prototype. It's, you know, it's there. I might throw the image on the screen to help y'all out, or I might not. It's a video podcast. If you can't see it, it's, well, go back and watch this section of the video, or I'll put it as a short. Who knows? Maybe a community post. Or you can follow us on our Facebook at Mythic, MYTH, Role-Playing and Games. That's Role-Playing and Games, because I wanted to be different. Plus, I really like costumes at the table. Who else really likes role-playing heavy, you know, going through and having, like, the little props of your weapon and swinging it around and, you know, nothing that you're going to hurt somebody with, but just, like, the little, like, 3D printed, you know, whatever, you know, dice carrier props or whatever. But I love roleplay. I love the dressing up. I love the cosplay. I 3D print for cosplay as well. And like wargaming terrain and big stuff. So, and sometimes miniatures because I can do it in FDM and I can prove it. I have the pictures and the Reddit community agreed with me. So people ask, what's it like being a professional game master? And on Motivation Monday, that's the biggest thing because being a professional game master is all about having your motivation completely locked down. It has to be separate from everything else. Your motivation cannot rely on anyone but yourself. If you start trying to bring anybody else into your creative flow or your excitement about your project, you will probably fail. Other people can be there and support and uplift, but you should not be dependent solely. Your whole mindset, your whole forward goal should not be dependent on what other people are willing to support you in. Because the road is going to be hard. But most things that are difficult, like I said, as long as they're not breaking you down, as long as they're not taking you away from relationships, because people can not support you and they can still be active participants in your life. They can love you and not support what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying that, there's certain things that applies to, but you know what I'm talking about. Don't take it the wrong way. But as long as you're not going through and tearing down the walls where people literally can't be around you, if you're just going through and, doing what you feel you need to do, and it starts coming together, and then the timing starts being impeccable, you can go through an entire year of waiting with very small little stasis or progress. I call it stasis. It's that kind of, that you're going day by day, but nothing's really building, nothing's really going. Because here's the biggest trap. Sometimes things need to be taken out of your life because the things that you're willing to do for other people, the things that you're willing to do because you're around other people or with other people, can get you stuck in a rut. And they can be wholesome things, right? You love somebody very much, and so you spend so much time providing and working and doing things that you love doing, but would not be the passion project and love and excitement that you're on to now. That's how it was for me. I loved what I was doing. I miss what I was doing. But I wouldn't be doing this and following myself and reaching so many more people this way. So as much as I would rather have not gone through a lot of things, I wouldn't be right here right now, and this week made all of that worth it. And yes, it's called Motivation Monday. So when I say this week, I mean from last Monday to this Monday, which is the 22nd of June 2026. Date this video. It's going to come out today anyways. I'm very quick at editing because I have nothing else to do for these video podcasts. That's right. You're looking at somebody that devotes all of his time into media presence, games, writing, and building community. And I think that's just about all we have. So, honestly, I have no idea. Some of the workshops we're running, some of the things that we're going to be doing over at the Game Lounge. I like new player, right? Getting comfortable with a new system or getting comfortable with being a player, what that means, how to go through and, perform your best, but also how to maximize having your fun. What kind of player do you want to be? And what kind of game should you be looking for? Those kind of workshops. For Game Masters, we're going to be doing workshops on adventure writing and counterbalancing what kind of party you have and knowing how to play to your party's motivations, because not everybody's going to be motivated by the same thing. And a lot of game masters, they try to, you're going to do this for gold. Well, okay, what if I don't care? Okay, you're going to do it for glory. Okay, what if I don't care? Right? And adventure modules that are, newer, we'll say, aren't as good because they stick with motivations really hard. And older modules kind of were like, hey, this is the plot point, but you figure out the motivation. And I like that. So we're going to workshop that, and then we're going to have creative writing workshops. And it's not just all classes. We're going to have trivia nights. We're going to have a true West Marches campaign. So I'm going to be at the lounge every day they're open. And of course, the days that they're not open are also by appointment. So you can call and actually rent out the place and do a lot of fun stuff. I think at any point you rent out the place, I think it's like $150 an hour or something like that. And it comes with all of their, service, consoles, games, everything, and the in-house game master for all that time for that price. So it's a pretty screaming deal. But we're going to work with people, and we're playtesting Mythic over there. True West Marches campaign. So since I'm there every day, as people want to come in and go, hey, are you doing anything right now? I want to do my section of the West Marches, right? Okay, cool. You get added in and do that. You can team up with other groups that are around the same area, right? It just depends. So people can trickle in, they can come in as groups, they can go and do whatever, right? There's a lot we can do with that within reason. It's going to keep it more organized. My brain works that way though, so. And then we're going to have regular campaigns. We're going to go through a lot of old adventure modules. I'm sure if you've seen some of my other videos that you've seen that I'm doing like defense trials of old adventure modules that are like bad or terrible. And I found out that, a lot of the times it comes down to people not reading the entire book. That's a spoiler alert, probably. Maybe you didn't know this, but people don't read anymore. And actually it shows that they didn't read before either, so maybe civilization isn't going super downhill like everybody thinks it is. We've just always been stupid because we're all in this together. And that's the motivation part, right? It doesn't matter how much you got to go through or slog through it, because once you get to where you're supposed to be, man, does all of it seem so worth it in hindsight. You don't even focus on the things that have happened because you got so much now going forward. And it'll take off quick when it takes off. You ever know that you're in like a right job because like you get into place and everybody's like, oh no, and you fit right in immediately, you make good friends, but then like you get a promotion decently, or like you get a merit of like, oh no, you did so much of this work, like, hey, you know, or you're improving your section or whatever, right? You know you're in the right spot, at least for now, when those things are happening. Special events. We're going to do special events. I've been extremely fond of doing Halloween events. All Hallows Eve, the spooky season. I've always done like, you know, actual cosplay character Halloween parties. So we're going to do that at the lounge. We're going to have very special holiday events. We're going to have a lot of fun. Probably a Christmas Krampus, maybe. I've run some In the World of Supernatural. If the Winchesters weren't there and it was up to regular people. I don't know. There's a lot of really silly ideas, but, you know, you come into the store and you want to have something fun, right? Something memorable, something different. When I'm not running something at the store, say there's, you know, nobody there, I'm just working on my own thing and I'm waiting for players to come in, or there's no game assigned, I'm still going to be in there for anybody who wants to pop in and be like, hey, I want to do a quick one shot, or hey, can you help me with character creation, or hey, right? Like the whole point is to build a community and then get you into a game. I got players that are looking to remote in from places like South Africa. I want to get one of them remoted into one of the like West Marches style or something that we can do, or, you know, one of the groups together. So we do hybrid as well. And, you know, Final Boss Game Lounge is 21 and up, but the internet is not. So you could remote into a 21 and up game that's ran at the 21 and up lounge. Just food for thought. It's not technically being there if you're remoted in, at least not yet. I'm pretty sure that, you know, the way they're cracking down on everything that they don't understand, or everything that might lead to more information, more sharing, more community, they'll probably crack down on that too, right? I know it probably sounds a whole lot like an advert video or something, but like that's probably another good thing that you heard, right? Yeah. Okay. I know it probably sounds like an advertising or, you know, an ad or something, but it's not. I'm just really excited about where I'm at right now and who I'm working with. A bunch of very talented creators over here in Washington right now, and it's going to be a really good time. So subscribe, like the video, keep yourself posted, right? But let's keep this thing going. Let's build a community, and let's get you guys connected, right? Bring people together, bring parties together. If you're a forever DM for just a little cover charge, a little $15 or a $50 membership for a month, you can come in. And they run specials all the time. I think for Father's Day, they ran $10 a day, or $10 the cover charge. But I will say that their drinks and their snacks are the cheapest I have seen from any store, from any bar, from anywhere at all. They're like old 7-Eleven prices. It's amazing. If you're a 90s kid and want that retro feel of like spending a couple of bucks and making it go a while, get the membership and just get all of your like drink and snack needs fulfilled when you come in. Because you can, with the membership, you come in as much as you want. So you think about that $15 per time you come in, or you get a $50 a month membership and come in as much as you want and buy snacks and drinks and just play games. And they got gaming consoles, they got N64s, they got NESs, they got Segas, they got PlayStations, they got a whole bunch under the sun. They have a game catalog that would shame most collectors in a Hollywood video. Honestly, their game catalog reminds me the most of Game Crazy. It's really amazing. I think they had Mike Tyson's Punch-Out up the other night while I was there. Yeah, it's awesome. We got the new D&D table set up. I'll probably put a picture of that up here somewhere, maybe. So it's going to be a wonderful setup, and I bet you can't guess which seat is mine. Whatever you're going through, whatever you've had, if it has been the worst year of your life, or it's just the worst couple of days, if nothing's going right, or if everything just is standing still, remember, if it's not breaking you down, if it's not sacrificing everything, just remember, if it's not breaking you down, if things are keeping you afloat, if things are in a moment of stasis, this kind of perpetual weight that feels stressful but almost weightless at the same time, you're in a good spot and a breakthrough is going to happen. I know it. If you're at a spot where things are breaking you down, if you find that things are easy and yet not fruitful, you're in a dangerous place. If you're not in a spot where you are willing to sacrifice everything for what you're doing, then you're in the wrong spot. Because when you're in the right spot, you'll put the entirety of yourself into it, and it won't feel like work. It'll suck sometimes, don't get me wrong, but you'll always come back to it because it's there and it's your passion. It's your love. It's your joy. It's your care. So this has been Motivation Monday, and I'll see you in the next session. Thanks for joining my table.